Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Mind Right Game Tight segment. I'm your host, Michelle Morgan, and I'm a transformational coach. So what that means is I work with student athletes on the mental aspect of being great in sports and in life as well. So I don't teach the dribbling or any skills, but it's all about the mindset to being great in sports and in life as well. So you can check out my website, vidasoro.com, and you can follow me on all my social media handles at vidasoro. Today's guest is a really, really, really great friend of mine. Her name is DeAnna Butler. She's a former student athlete who played 4 years at San Francisco State University, where she earned her degree in liberal studies, and then she earned her master's in sports administration from Fresno Pacific University. DeAnna has also held assistant coaching positions at San Francisco State University and Antelope Valley Community College. She currently is a professor at Antelope Valley Community College, and she continues to pursue her career as being one of the top basketball officials. So welcome, DeAnna, to the show. Great to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
You're welcome. Yeah, looking good, buddy. So you played basketball, and then you transformed into coaching, and now you're a professor, and then going into being a basketball official. Is there something that you learned as a student athlete that's kind of helped you along the way to keeping that trait and knowing to always continue to pursue forward and being great in all those different things that you're doing in sports and in life as well?
Yes, I feel like it's been determination, one, and two, commitment. And being a student athlete to a coach to a professor to an official, like each one of them, I had to be determined and I've had to be committed. And I feel like with those two positive things, there's a quote that like Pat Riley has. He's like, you're either in or you're out, you know, if you're committed. And I just feel like regardless of what it is, if I'm involved in it, if I'm in it, like I'm committed to it and I'm going to do it. And so I've always found joy in each and every one of those things, which has made it even fun and just made it a cool thing just to be involved in each one.
So what did commitment look like for you as a student athlete playing basketball at San Francisco State? So what did that look like? Like, how did you embody that to be committed to that sport?
First it was hard work, just starting off as a young kid, straight out of high school, going to San Francisco State. And it was the workouts at first, they were tough. Like I hadn't experienced anything like it. I always worked hard and loved the game, and I ran track and things like that. So I think that's what made me tough in those areas. But I just feel like as a student athlete, like I just had to really, really work hard. Especially for me, like offensively, I wasn't a great offensive player. So defense, you absolutely just have to work hard, and just those workouts, waking up at 5 a.m., you remember the pull workouts, the beach workouts, when I used to throw the sand crabs at you, those.
Yeah. Good times.
Those are the things that, like, make it tough. But, if you're committed, like, it doesn't matter. You're just going to do whatever it is to, like, be there and be a part of it.
And how did you implement that as well in not just being the athlete, but being the student as well? So being able to focus on basketball, you also worked outside of basketball, and then being committed in the classroom to earn your degrees. How did you balance all that to be committed to each one of those things?
I think, as a professor now, I look back and, I look at school and, and it's a challenge, but I feel like the love for the game kept me going, for that challenge academically. I wanted to be on the team. So, being a part of a, student athlete, being a part of a program, you have to meet certain GPA requirements, grade requirements. And, that's what kept me in the classroom motivated and committed to being that student athlete as well.
Nice. And then fast forward now, you're a basketball official. And this past season, you were one of 3 female referees who refereed the Junior College California State Championship game. So congratulations on that. I know that's a great achievement. And then how do you mentally prepare for something like that? Like, is it different going into a game where it's like, this is the championship, this is a peak level for not only yourself, but, the players that are involved as well. So how do you mentally prepare for a game like that?
That's a great question. First and foremost, I couldn't do it alone. I have really, really great mentors to help me along the way. And, when games like that come up, yes, you do prepare for it differently mentally as well. And, so it happened the entire weekend leading up to the state championship. One of my mentors was there every step of the way, Renee Robinson. She's been there for me day one, officiating and giving me the ins and outs. And I so happen to have another mentor who's huge in women's basketball, and she's been in big games such as the Final Four, and it's really cool that I had access to her because I called her immediately when I found out I was working the game, and, she mentally and helped me prepare for the game with the pregame that we call. And I just talked to her, and, she told me, to enjoy the moment, and, she gave me a lot of tidbits to pregame with my crew, and it was a good feeling after I got off the phone with her. I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this game, and just went through the pregame with my crew and just went through it. But definitely, normally I have a regular game, I have my own pregame, but this game I knew I needed just a little assistance because, it was one, a huge game, two, a little nervous. But three, having the access to Lisa and being able to talk to her totally calmed my nerves, and I felt like fully prepared going into the game.
And so what does that pregame look like? Like, what was different about it from, you saying you doing it by yourself to you doing it, with the group and changing it up for that game? Like, what was different about that?
I think more so different, like, she just gave me different angles and things, just that game, you gotta bring your A game. You got to be ready. There's no room for error in, big games like this. And I think mentally that just put me in a place where, I had to be focused, every 30 seconds of the game. From there on, I was just focused and, determined to do a great job and enjoy the moment as well.
And so speaking about mentorship, how did you, get those mentors? And can you talk about the importance of having mentors as well as you, pursue and move up further in your career? Like, did you reach out to those mentors, or did they just kind of say, oh, hey, DeAnna, do you mind if I mentor you for a bit? So talk about the importance and how you got them to be mentors to you.
Mentors are huge. There's other things that I've done in life, other trades where I've had other mentors. And so I just felt like, they're like that big brother, that big sister, mom and dad that can just guide you. And no, they don't come out seeking. I actually mentor too. And, me as a mentee, we go out and seek them, and one, for me, like, I have to relate to them as, women. And so I have three mentors that I do work with in terms of officiating, and all three of them, I relate to them in some type of way. Like I said, Renee, she was just day one. Someone referred me to her. She lived in the Bay Area where I was working a lot at the time, and we just kind of connected from there. She's like a sister to me now, Lisa is one of her mentors, which has helped me along the way as well. And so I just kind of fall into the pipeline there. And there's another one, Infinity, that I just kind of just relate to. And so happen we have the same birthday, so we kind of just relate as people, and just her attitude, her way of doing things reminds me of myself. And just with those three, I feel really, really comfortable. And they have helped me, and they have been there for me,
Yeah, and so, like, it's not just, like, we look at, as student athletes, we have our coaches, and then we have everybody, maybe professors or teachers and people that surround us who are mentors. But it's great to show that it's great to have mentors at every level, at no matter what stage we're at and what we're doing, to have those people who kind of have that experience to kind of help us, because not everything's going to be great at one time, and so we need that person. So can you talk about an example where, you might have been facing adversity and then a mentor was actually able to help you out and you overcame that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Life is tough in everything that we do. Like, nothing's going to come easy, right? If everybody could be a millionaire right now, everybody would be. So with that being said, is just, my goals in officiating is, I want to reach the Division I level. I've been working very, very hard at it. I sacrificed coaching and had to leave, coaching because it became a conflict of interest with officiating. So the last 3 summers, I've been working really, really hard. And this past summer, I kind of hit like a roadblock, or just mentally within. been investing the last 3 summers heavily, and hadn't received a phone call yet, and so that's tough because trying to break and, get hired at that Division I level, it comes with a lot as well. And so one of my mentors, it was after one camp this summer where I felt like I did really, really well, and I should have been one of the top campers, and I didn't receive anything, didn't hear anything. So I was a little heartbroken, down, bummed out. And, she just said, hey, just keep working hard. Just keep working hard. She just had a heartfelt conversation with me. She even asked me, how I was doing. Because, at first I'm like, oh, I'm okay. But, she's like, no, how are you really, really doing? And I'm just like, I'm not all right. It's just, it hurts a little bit. You put in so much effort, and, you're working hard. And, so, she's just like, you know what, just keep working hard. I've been there. I've been, been in your shoes. And she said, but one thing I want you to do is just stop worrying. Just let it all go. Just let the worrying part go. Put in the work. Stay determined. She's like, I could tell you're committed, stay in it, and just go work your games, and don't care anymore, about that part of it. And so, that happened. I had my, week or two, whatever. And then I just let it go. And the rest of the summer I just kept working every game, whether I was at a camp or a semi-pro game or a rec ball game. I was just working, And then next thing I know, when I thought I wasn't going to get a phone call, I did receive a phone call, So it just let me know that just continue to put in the work, and it's going to happen. It may not happen today or tomorrow, may happen 5 years down the road, but if you're, again, committed and invested, it eventually is going to happen.
Awesome. And so next week is going to be your first Division I basketball game, right? That you're going to be officiating?
Yes.
Yeah. So all that hard work, exactly what what DeAnna's talking about, and being committed. And I know a lot of times it's so easy for us to worry because we say, like, well, I put in the hard work for, X amount of years, and it's like, why hasn't it come to me yet? Like, I totally understand what you're saying. I've felt the same way. And so it's like you said, it's like you have to drop that worry, and when the time is right, it will come to you. So how long have you been on this journey of looking to reach that Division I level? So when did you start? And then what does that journey look like? Like, what does it look like to put in the work, and what work do I have to do to reach a Division I level status as an official?
Ooh, there's no timeline. For some individuals, it can happen in a year or two. For some, it may happen in 5-10 years. There's things on the other end of it that we can't control, that I understand now, and you just got to put in the work, you got to know your rules. You got to pass the eye test. You got to be physically fit. Got to be a people's person, You got to, people have to want to work with you. On the floor, you got to show strength, respect, by the coaches, be able to communicate. And again, like, I have friends who's, made it to Division I or even pro in a year or two. Then I have friends who said it took them 10 years. It just depends on, again, like I said, on the other end, what they're looking for. You may not be in the right location. They may need a male or a female, They may need a certain look. So I can't, we can't put a timeline on it. Everyone just says just put in the work and just keep going after it.
Yeah, and so also, like, something that I learned from you is that there's officiating camp. So that's something that when you talk about investing in yourself, I mean, that's also something that, as, people, not just in sports or it's in everything, careers, like investing in ourselves to be better as to what we're doing. So that's something that you sacrifice a lot for, because you would travel to different cities or states just to participate in these camps because you knew who was going to be there. And not only that, you knew you were going to be getting the coaching to be great as an official, the top level of, mentorship or people coming in. So I think that's something also that we don't think about as, I never thought about that as a player, like, oh, these referees go to camp, like just how a basketball player goes to camp.
Oh, yeah. As officials, yes. So that's what comes along with it, too. You have to go to camps, and our camps are during the off season. So, season's November through March, but right after that, camps are starting up into April, and depending on where you want to be, where you want to work, some of us nowadays go anywhere from 3 to 7 camps a summer, so yeah, we're sacrificing time, time away from family, time away from our jobs. And not only that, we're investing as well too into these camps. But the great thing about it is it makes you become a better official, and a better person as well. So I look at it as just like I'm investing into my business, and I get something out of every camp that I go to. So it's so important for me as an official in my off season to continue to go to camp, whether I get hired or not. There are majority of the camps we do go to are hiring camps, but for me, I just go to it to get better. Yes, in the end, would like to be rewarded, but like at this point, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I know that I'm just becoming a better official every year. And I've been going to camps now, I think since about 2012. No, yeah, I think I went to my first, 2011, 2012, I went to my first camp. Started officiating in 2010. So I've been camping for quite some time, and like I said, heavily camping for the last 3 summers since I, retired or stopped coaching.
Nice. And then you mentioned that it also made you a better person as well. So how did that impact you as a person?
A lot of with officiating, is our big topics are communicating with coaches, and a lot of times, they'll tell us too is, like the way you communicate with the coach is how you should communicate with, your family, your partners, and things of that nature. So, coaches might backlash at us and yell at us, and it's the professional thing for us to do, is to come at them in the appropriate professional manner. And that's hard work at times, it's difficult because it could be a heated situation and, no one likes to be yelled at and things of that nature. But over the time, what I've found is that the tidbits and the little things that I've learned at camp on how to communicate is actually transpired into me as a person when I deal with individuals day to day, even when I deal with my students in the classroom. And, I've seen a much calmer person within, and, you don't have to fight every battle. Same thing on the court with coaches. Sometimes, the best thing to say is, okay, so definitely the communication piece has helped me, as an individual.
Nice. And so, like, in terms of communication, how do you refrain from not taking with, like, what a coach says personal or what a player says personal or even the fans? Because, sometimes you can hear the fans or these coaches or the players, and how do you refrain from, not taking what they say personal and still maintaining that professional level as an official?
I think, like, the main thing when you gain a level of confidence, when you know your rules, your mechanics, and when you know that piece of the game, you have a level of confidence that nobody can really take from you. So a fan, definitely, they can't take it away from you, a player or a coach. I think the cool thing is I've been in every shoe. I've been a player, been a coach. I've been the fan that heckled the referees. Sure you remember.
You traveled.
Yep. Take that Foot Locker shirt back. So I've been in all shoes. And then now, like I said, now that I know the rules and I know the ins and outs, it's a sense of humor to me. At times I kind of laugh inside. I can't show it. But I guess it's just that level of confidence that doesn't get to me. Anything they say really can't get to me. I think the only thing that will get to me if I miss like a play or something big like that, that'll cause a game or something, or just an ugly play. Those stick to me over nights or weeks or here and there. But the words that people say really don't get to me anymore.
And so how do you bounce back mentally from those plays? Or maybe you made a call and you're like, okay, was that really the right call? Like second guessing your call, like, does that happen? And then how do you bounce back from those things, even where, you can go back and watch film, say after a game and see like a call that, the decision, you're like, oh, maybe not. So how do you mentally bounce back from those?
They're tough at times, I don't like to be in those situations. I recall, a situation from last season, had a tough play, and, it just sat with me for a while. But the way, I got out of it, and the cool thing is as officials, we support each other. You have your support groups. And, I sent out the play to several different other officials, including my mentors. And everybody agreed, tough play, so in that situation, when it happened, I had to do a quick reset. It was tough, but in those situations, you just have to reset and try to move forward, going forward. If it happens to me again, I'll just reset and go forward and have to look at it later. I mean, because we are human, there's human error, but inside it sucks,
Yeah, and the same thing, because once that play is made, there's still another play to be made. So it's like you kind of have to. We want the officials back in the game. Like, we're like, we don't want you thinking about that last call. Like, even if it's right or wrong, we still want you back fully mentally in the game, because that help produce the best, basketball game that both sides are playing. And so what parts of your officiating are you working on improving?
My main thing this past summer, or even like right now, leading up to season starting, has been just to really be in my rule book and just continually stay physically fit, because we get a little older, things is a little harder. So those are my main two things I've been focusing on, is just my rule book and staying physically fit as well. I feel like I'm a pretty good communicator with coaches and things of that nature. Of course, like, we can always work on that. Every other piece of the game, I'm okay there. Just making sure I know my rules, because we had so many changes this year. We had 30 rule changes. So, we had, things have changed in women's basketball, for the better though. But therefore, if I'm out there, I got to know what I'm doing. So just definitely been in the books and just in the gym.
Nice. And then what qualities do you possess that make you a great referee?
My qualities are just, I'm a people's person. I pretty much get along with everybody. I feel like I'm a lot of coaches know my face. And if not, I have I guess a basketball look, because coaches come to me, players come to me. So I just feel like I give the court that presence that it needs, the comfortability at times. And that's pretty much what I get from players, coaches, and partners, and I just try to balance everything out and, just make it the best for the game.
So when you say that basketball look, does that mean coaches and players feel comfortable knowing that, you actually played the sport, so you understand the game to a different degree, because you've been in those positions, so that, I can communicate with you. And then you can also, when you're an official, you see the game a little bit differently, because you know what those moments are like in that aspect as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can relate to players in moments, coaches in moments. The game, the rules are what it is. It is what it is. But I think cool thing is I can communicate that piece and bring them, if they're at a 10, bring them down, and let them know, okay, I understand how you feel right now, but this is what it is. This is what's occurred. This is what's happened. We got to move forward. So I think just being able to relate in those moments, and also in times, being that partner in certain crews, giving them that piece of information at times too, like, hey, I don't think the coach meant it that way, So I just think having that feel for the game and that feel as a player and coach, it kind of just brings everything together, especially my crews too.
Yeah, and then talking about crews, it's almost like you have teammates. So you've gone from having teammates as an athlete or as a player, and then, you've coached, so you have your assistant coaches and things like that. But also those other officials on the court, those are also your teammates as well. So I know a lot of the times you guys don't know each other before you go into a game. So how do you guys as a team come together so that you're all on the same page before a game starts?
So, you know what, normally we either, if time, permits, we kind of meet up early if we can. If we have a game somewhere, let's say Ventura or somewhere, and if we're all in the same location, we'll try to meet up, maybe get some lunch or something, drive up together. And then, that car ride is a time where we can get to know each other and talk about things outside of basketball, right? How's family, how's everything, just to see where our partners are, how they're doing. And that kind of helps the game out as well, Now, there's a lot of partners that I do know as well, too, and we just have those, relationships, connections, and we go on the floor and we work well together. But I think, too, the camaraderie that's going on right now is a lot of us that are in officiating, we're all camping over the summer together, so we probably see each other more than our family. even like the last couple weeks, we've had to go to clinics, so again, we see like season's over, but we still see each other like once every week or once every 2 weeks at times. And so it's kind of like a big family now too, it's rare that I work with partners and I haven't seen them in a while, but like I said, a lot of times if we can meet up and drive to San Diego together, drive to Santa Barbara together, and have that time to talk, catch up, see how each other's doing, it helps on the floor, versus running in last minute and, nerves are bad and, it's kind of tough at times, when things happen that way, but definitely meeting up first and having lunch or something helps.
Nice, having that chemistry, I guess you can call it. Mm-hmm. So just as like, and then it also produces like a better product as well, because it's like more easily to communicate with each other. Like I've already talked to you on this car ride down here, or I've had lunch, so it's not anything where I feel uneasy to say something to you, or you can say something to me.
Yes.
As well. And so what's the next step now that you want to achieve? Like you're going to be officiating your first Division I game next week on Halloween. What does the future hold? What is it that you look forward to attaining next, your next goal?
My goals are, get through these games this season. Season's about to start. Yes, I, work, I'm Division I. I work in, one conference right now, but I still have goals to work in conferences that are more competitive than this conference or bigger, So, again, this season, I just want to do better than I did last year. Try to make it a Division II, regionals, conference tournaments. If I make Division I, postseason, then those are my goals as well, too. And then just do a great job and continue on. Get to postseason in all my conferences, and.
Got it. Well, I know you can do it. So if anybody's looking to pursue a career as an official, like what's your advice to them?
My advice to them is to start off in their local high school unit. Everyone has a unit, whether it's San Gabriel, Channel Coast, San Fernando, South Bay, Los Angeles, Long Beach, Orange County. You can go on cbo.net. Right now, I think everyone's kind of like a month into their meetings, so it's a little late to get started in basketball officiating. I think that's the best way, is to get started in your local high school unit. Then from there, you'll find individuals like me. I instruct in the San Fernando unit in our women's NC2A class. Like I've had mentors in the past who instructed our courses as well. That's helped me, get to where I'm at today and kind of channel through this career. It's different, but it's fun. And if you love a sport, it's a good way to still be involved in it.
Yeah, definitely. And are there any websites or books or videos that you like to go back to as motivation for your mind to kind of remind you of this path you're on, the purpose that you're taking, to not worry? So do you have any of those pieces of information that people can also look up to get that as well?
Yes, I do. And I have one, but it's in my office too. Look at it, put me on the spot. What is it? The 10 Essentials of a Great Teammate. And I will have to, I can't even think of the author, but it's a good one because in this business, again, like you said, we're working with crews that are essentially like partners. I feel like that's like the biggest component in this business, is being a good partner and being a good person and essentially a good teammate, because, we're a team at the end of the day. And that book, I'll go back and look at it from time to time just to make sure that I'm still being that good person and being that good teammate out there. A lot of times in my difficult times, though, I just kind of go to, again, my mentors, because they've been through it. They're going through it. And so it's just like firsthand for me. Like a lot of times I just pick up the phone and I'll call them and just, see what to do in certain experience and situation. My sister, she's been there. Desiree's been there every step of the way too. And she's always just kind of like, motivating and keep going and, keep pushing on. So I think my professor side, I have to do so much reading there that, other things other books, they get kind of pushed to the side.
You're ready for the human voice after.
Yeah. I'll call you, and I get motivation, from my friends, my family, and my mentors that kind of like pick me up.
Yeah.
And I think just going through so much in this game of basketball, from student athlete to coach to now, like I know, it'll knock you down, but you just got to get back up and keep going, because pretty much anything is possible, for me when it comes to like basketball. So
definitely, I agree. And I mean, as a teammate of yours, I've seen you do it the whole step of the way. So thank you, DeAnna, for sharing your story and your inspiration. You touched me when you were talking about, just that worrying part, because that happens to all of us, where it's like, oh, I want it yesterday, basically,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, having that patience, and it's in our timing. Everyone's on their own journey for their own timing. And sometimes we forget that because we have social media, and sometimes it's like, oh, I see that person doing it. Like, come on, I know what's right. It's supposed to have come to me already, So it's being patient, but keep putting in that determination and that commitment to what you feel that your purpose is. So
absolutely. And you know what? You can't compare yourselves to others unless you're going to like drive yourself crazy, and so like you said, it's just continually, working hard, being determined, and just enjoying your own journey, because like you said, you can look at social media, turn it on, like you want what they want, you want to be like them, or you feel like this, but I tried, like I said, I just try to get rid of all that, because I want to enjoy what I'm doing at the same time and have fun. And no, you can't, worrying can be a killer. Don't do it.
Yeah, because you're doing great things at the same time as well. And, sometimes we forget how great we're doing, because we see it because we do see it somewhere else. We're like, oh, they have it that way, or that's happening over there. And it's like, we forget how great we are as people, as individuals, and all the steps we're taking to move forward as well. So it's just a reminder for all those who are listening, and a reminder for myself, because I need to hear it for myself too as well. So once again, DeAnna, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate you being on and once again sharing your story. But one thing before you go, you just have to finish this sentence. I am grateful for.
I am grateful for it.
You're grateful for it?
Wait, what? I thought I just had to repeat you.
No, you have to finish the sentence. You have to finish the sentence. I'm like, you're grateful for it? Okay. I have another question for you. What is it? So I guess the interview isn't over yet, because that's a whole
See, I thought you said I had to repeat it. That was like a Vida as Ordo type ending.
Oh, like an affirmation?
Yeah. That's me, guys.
Okay. You just have to finish the sentence. I am grateful for.
Okay. I am grateful for my family, my best friend, and then the man above, God.
Awesome. Thank you. So that was our it, I guess.
I thought you said it too. I was like, I'm grateful for it. Why did she want me to say that? Cool.
What kind of interview is this? Okay, so thank you, DeAnna, for being on the Mind Right Game Type Show. We look forward to seeing you progress in your journey as well. So everybody continue to treasure yourself and shine. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.